Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we are back with another Star Trek unboxing, and this is the USS Titan NCC 80102 from the Fanhome official Starships collection. This is maybe our seventh Starship unboxing. So if you want to take a look at all of the other ships in this series, I'm going to have some links at the end of the video where you can check those out. This is a monthly subscription plan where they're going to send you a new ship, and you're going to get something new every month, which is really cool. We're going to go ahead and unbox this one and take a look at these. These are extremely detailed ships, and most of these have been from Star Trek Picard and some of the newer series. So you're getting a lot of really cool stuff that way. And when you open this up, the first thing that you're going to see is our little guidebook here. Now, this is going to give you all kinds of really cool technical specifications, and then we're also going to have our Starship right here with our flight stand. So very cool stuff. Also, before I dig too deep into all of this, I do want to let you guys know there's still a few days left to enter to win that $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my other videos, and let me know what you want to see next. If you're more of a Star Trek fan or a Starship or Star Wars fan or a different series, what are some of your favorite starships that you would love to see talked about and or covered a little bit more here on the channel? Let's get a closer look at these. All right, so first off, we're going to take a look at our little guidebook. Now, this is a particularly interesting ship for a number of reasons. It is a Luna-class ship, and also I think a lot of people might be a little confused when they first look at this because this is the USS Titan, but it's not immediately recognizable as the version of the USS Titan that we saw in Star Trek Picard. Well, there's a reason for that, and this book actually goes into detail on it, explaining how this is the version of the Titan that was actually a fan-designed ship. Now, if you saw Star Trek Nemesis, you'll recall that at the end of Star Trek Nemesis, Riker leaves and he is able to take command of the Titan. Well, this is that ship that he took command on. You may have seen the ship also in Lower Decks, but this, of course, is its depiction in Star Trek Picard. And you're thinking, well, yeah, I saw Star Trek Picard, but in Star Trek Picard, I saw a different ship. I saw a ship that looked like this, which was also the USS Titan. Now, this is the 80102A, the Titan A, which is not the original Titan. So this is the original Titan. It was a fan-designed competition that actually created this ship. And when it came time to actually put it on screen, they decided to go with the Titan A instead of the original Titan. So if that's true, then why, of course, would we say this was from Star Trek Picard? And the reason for that, of course, it's outlined a little bit more in this book, is that in Picard Season 3, towards the end, there were a lot of ships on screen, and they decided to show this ship on screen as one of those ships from the end of Season 3. However, prior to that, predominantly the ship that we saw as the Titan was the Titan A. So we'll keep that in mind because, again, there's two USS Titans in this Starships collection. Let's take a look at the original USS Titan as we pull it out of the box here. So we're going to get our stand first. These stands are very heavy and they have a felt bottom. And we'll go ahead and pull this out. It's got a little bit of tape on there. There we go. I'm going to pull that out. We're going to have a little section here, which we'll be able to put that in there. And this is going to grip the ship. We'll do that a little bit later. But it's weighted. It's a little heavier on the bottom. And this will hold your ship in a sort of, you see how it's kind of angled a little bit. So where it'll be flying kind of upward and onward and forward into infinity and beyond and all of that other stuff. As we pull this out, again, a lot of these ships are all packaged in a very thick foam to prevent any damage to the ship, so they're always going to come out very clean and pretty. So here we have the original USS Titan. A couple of observations that I'm going to have when I look at this ship up close. First off, the lettering is very bold. And very thick, very clean, very good applications of the naming and lettering, the numbering and lettering on there. So I'll hold it a little closer so we can get a clear view of it, but we got clear as day USS Titan, NCC 80102. Lots of paint applications on here, lots of detailing, lots of individual deck plating and panels on here. We've got some pinstripes of the red that's running from back to front, right up through the middle. It ends right up here before we get to this kind of center bridge area. We've got this elevated section here, which is very cool. It draws a lot of kind of reminders to certain other ship designs. And again, there's like the book will talk about a lot of the ships that went into this design, having the nacelles lower than the saucer section. Very, very cool. It's just a very sleek and cool looking ship. I kind of prefer this version to the Titan A, as a matter of fact. And we have some really great materials on here too. We do have like the acrylic blue in here where we can kind of see it catches the light really well. We also have the red on the tip of the nacelles. We have some of that same red back here for for extra engine glow effect, which is really cool that's going on, and that's going to be on both sides. And our saucer, our deflector dish rather, is all in blue. This is a really pretty effect, and I really like that. There we go. We can kind of catch a good look of it and how it looks right there. And so this is one of those ships that's really going to catch a lot of light. It has a very pretty effect. Also really dig the rear section here. I had seen this on lower decks, and while it was present on Picard, I don't think it was front and center. Like I didn't immediately jump out and say, oh, that's the Titan. But you might have recognized it from because it was talked about in books, and of course you'd recognize the name from the film, right? And so it was already talked about in books. It was already talked about in the movie for Nemesis. And by the time we got around for Star Trek Picard, Riker had already retired, wasn't commanding this ship anymore. So what all happened in the meantime? Lower Decks finally gave it to us a little bit more in the animated world, but having this version is a very, very cool one. Oh, we have some extra lining, lettering and stuff here on the sides of the nacelles, which is a really cool view of the side, and even more kind of underneath is very, very tiny. These are very cool effects. So again, really nice paint applications, really great detail. A lot of really beautiful parts of this ship. It's kind of sturdy too. I'm going to show you how it goes into the stand. All right, so for this one, we're just going to be a little delicate here and kind of get this right here. So we want to fit these two arms inside these little kind of shoulder gaps right here. I'm calling them shoulder gaps. I don't know what you would call it. I don't think gaps actually have a name, but I'm calling them shoulder gaps, right? Kind of right before the saucer section is kind of engine glow right there. So I think maybe that's the impulse engines or the thrusters, but yeah. So right there, and that's going to anchor the ship in. Have it going upward. And just for a size comparison, we'll line that up next to the Titan A. We'll come to find the Titan A is a little longer for these two models, but at the same time, the original Titan is a little more compact, has a little more mass to it. Now, these ships aren't all to true scale. They're not necessarily all exactly in scale with each other. I'd probably have to go look up the exact length and width and get all of that stuff to find out which ones are actually bigger or smaller than the last. However, they are to a scale where they all look about, they take up around the same kind of area. So if every ship, and if you go back and check out all of my other ships too, you can find that they're all going to be about this big-ish, give or take a few inches. But that much is very cool. I also want to point out something else, is that all of the bases are not the same. So if you like the Titan A, for example, the base is anchored in the middle because these are weighted and designed to balance these ships. So while you might be able to get away with kind of mixing and matching some of them, I wouldn't recommend it because they are sort of designed for each ship. And the bases don't say. So if you take them off and you start playing with them and you start to put them all back again, you might take a little trial and error because you might find oh, I'd have some things wrong. But they are designed to perfectly anchor their respective ship. So actually, what you could do is you could put like a little label or a little tag or something like that on the bottom to say which one is which, if you plan on removing them from the bases quite a bit. All right, so that is our look at the USS Titan, the original. If you're going to pick up the whole set, you're going to get a lot of extras. Every ship is going to come with one of these booklets. You're going to get a case to kind of hold them all together, which is going to be super cool. And you're going to get a whole lot of different ships for, every month. You're going to get a new one. So that's a very cool thing. If you're interested in that, I'm going to have links in the video description below. Big thanks to Fanhome for sending this out for review. And big thanks to my patrons for helping make this whole channel possible. Thank you so much for your continued support. And everybody else watching, double check your subscriptions. Make sure you are still subscribed. And I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. And always wash your socks.